transfer window. Breaking news on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Yes, it's time now to get an update on the transfer window. And we're going to first kick off looking at a couple of players that have already signed for West Ham that I'm sure even the West Ham fans have been Googling ahead of tonight's big game against Forest, because they do need them to hit the ground running.
Certainly do.
One of our top team of European experts, Kevin Hatchard, joins us now. Hi, Kev.
How are we doing, gents? We all right?
Yeah, we're good. There's plenty of stuff to get stuck into with European players potentially heading to the Premier League. But before that, let's find out more about Pablo Felipe and Tati Castellanos, who came from Lazio, the Argentinian. So, what can you tell us about them? Do you expect them to hit the ground running? There's often a period of adjustment, isn't it, coming to the Premier League?
Yeah, I think there will be, and obviously West Ham can't afford too much of a period of adjustment. I think Pablo's an interesting one. His dad, Pena, actually was a striker for Porto, and he was top scorer in the league for Porto a few years ago. So he's got good pedigree. And at Gil Vicente, she's done pretty well. You know, he got 10 goals in 13 games this season. You're never quite sure how the leap is going to go. But what he is he's physically strong enough to deal with the Premier League, I think. What I like about him is he's a poacher. He's got good goal scorer's instincts, I think. He knows where to be. But there might be a period of adaptation. Tati Castellanos is an interesting one because scored goals in America, in MLS, and did well there. Scored goals at Girona in La Liga and scored 4 in one game against Real Madrid once. Went to Lazio, double figures last season. He's had a few hamstring problems this season, so he's slowed down a bit. So, again, there are no surefire things, but I think what links both players, I think, is work rate, aggression and energy. And that's clearly what West Ham are looking for. They're looking for a bit more punch up front, a bit more physicality, I think.
So is Felipe really the replacement for what they hoped Füllkrug was going to be?
Yeah, and I must admit, I'm surprised the Füllkrug thing went so badly, because if you look at his time at Dortmund immediately beforehand, you know, he'd helped them reach a Champions League final. He'd looked fitter than he had for a while. You know, he's had 4 knee injuries, you know, serious ones. So that was always a question mark, but he had looked good. He'd looked really sharp for Germany, but he just never got going. He had injury problems and was in a team that was struggling. So I am surprised that went as badly as it did.
It's hard to sign players in January, and I know Yan Diomande, a lot of clubs are looking at him, but you reckon he's not going anywhere?
Yeah, so he's really exciting. 19-year-old winger, quick, real entertainer, but a real work rate as well. That's what really stands out about him. Started well with Ivory Coast at international level too. Tottenham believed to be interested. Manchester United have been credited with an interest as well. But if you look at RB Leipzig's history, they don't do these big deals mid-season. And that's all of the talk that's coming out of Germany, that they're not going to sanction a deal mid-season. They need him because they want to try and get back into the Champions League. They missed out on Europe altogether last season. So certainly won't be sanctioning a deal in this window, I wouldn't have thought.
He will be expensive as well, Kevin. What sort of figure have they put on him?
Yeah, I mean, Leipzig don't sell players cheap. We know that. They drive a hard bargain, and there's no release clause. He's only just gone there. He's only been there a matter of months. And the talk in Germany is that it would take around about €100 million to get Leipzig to let him go ahead of schedule. Now, realistically, the fee probably won't be that, but that's what Leipzig are putting out there to put people off.
And now, interested in what Marcus Rashford and his people would have thought when Ruben Amorim got the sack yesterday. There's a few reports suggesting that there could be a way back for him, but he seems to be enjoying life in Barcelona.
Yeah, he is, and he's been an important part of that squad. He got plenty of game time when Rafinha was injured. They're in the mix to win La Liga again. They're in the mix to win the Champions League. I'd be very surprised if he was desperate to return to Old Trafford at this stage. As far as I know, there's no immediate recall clause that United would be able to use. So, and Barcelona don't want to let him go because it would make no sense for them whatsoever, because there's a player that they were able to bring in on loan, and he's been super helpful for them. And they're not in a position to go out and spend a fortune to try and replace him. So, yeah, I think this is one that, they'll want to keep him, and I think he'll want to stay.
And talking of returning to your old club, Chiesa, there's a bit of interest in him, isn't there, from Juventus?
Yeah, and he's been linked with Roma as well. Roma are looking to add a bit more punch to their attack because they've been surprisingly timid in attack, actually. Evan Ferguson has been a bit hit and miss. Artem Dovbyk, it hasn't really happened for him this season, so they've been linked with him as well. And Juventus are looking to try and push on under Spalletti because they've been really up and down. And if you look at the attacking players they brought in, hasn't really happened for them. Jonathan David struggled, Lois Openda struggled, and Vlahovic, who they're keen to get rid of at the end of the season when his contract expires, he's probably been their most consistent striker, I would say.
So is that him pushing for that because he wants more game time before the World Cup, or is that... Because I'm surprised he's had some decent cameos for Liverpool, and I would imagine they want to keep him to the end of the season.
I imagine they would, but the problem is that Arne Slot just doesn't start him enough.
No.
Just doesn't seem to trust him to start enough games. It's been a bone of contention for a lot of Liverpool fans who feel that his performances have warranted more game time, but it just doesn't seem to be happening for him. And, obviously we don't know if Italy are going to make the World Cup at the moment, but if they do, he's absolutely going to want to be part of that. So it's a big decision for him to make.
What's the latest on Harry Kane and his contract at Bayern?
Yeah, so it looks as though he's not going to, as we've said all along, really, when we've spoken about this season, he's got a release clause in his contract, but that expires in January. And I don't think he ever had any intention of using it. He's very settled in Germany. He went on one of those fan club visits recently where they do a lottery and you get different players going to different fan clubs around Bavaria and beyond. And he spoke about how happy he is and that he will talk to Bayern about a new contract, but he's very relaxed about it. He's been linked with a return to the Premier League. I don't think that's going to happen. He's been linked with a move to Barcelona, but I'm not sure that's the deal they can afford. Certainly if he isn't going to go in this window. So I expect him to stay at Bayern and to continue to push for the biggest prizes.
Couple of players that could be heading potentially from the Bundesliga, the Premier League. Danny Oduki he's a defender at Union Berlin. Leeds are interested. Do you think he'd be a good buy for them?
I feel like it's a no-brainer. He's got a few months left on his deal. He's physical. He's excellent in the air. He's a set-piece threat. He's used to playing in a back three, and obviously Leeds have had that positional switch that has worked really well for them. I think he'd be a fantastic player in the Premier League. So if they could get him, I think that'd be a real coup. He's not going to sign a new deal with Union. I think he's going to go either at the end of the season when his contract expires, or he'll go in this window.
What sort of money is he going to cost, Kev?
The talk is around 10, 11 million. And I think that's probably fair because, yes, you could wait 6 months and wait to get him. But I think if you look at the deals Leeds have done, they've been pretty smart and they've lent on Germany quite heavily. They brought in guys like Anton Stark, who've done really well. Metscher's done better than I thought he would because he's had a lot of injury problems, but he's managed to stay fit. So they've made some good signings from Germany, and I think this would help them get over the line.
And one final one, Bournemouth looking to replace Antoine Semenyo. Have been looking at Stuttgart and Germany winger Jamie Lurling, but he's going to be hard to prize away, isn't he?
He is. I'm a little sceptical about it anyway, because there's talk of €40 million. Stuttgart want to hang on to him. Sebastian Hoeneß, the coach, is a big fan of his. My issue is the end product. There's a lot to like about Leveling. He's dynamic, he's quick, he can score goals from range. I don't think he scores enough goals. And what I would worry about is him coming into Bournemouth with the tag of the Semenyo replacement. It's a lot of pressure for a guy that just hasn't been a volume provider in terms of goals and assists.
We shall see. Kevin, thanks ever so much.
Interesting.
Cheers,
Thank
chaps.
Kevin Hatchard, European football expert, right across all the latest going on in the transfer window with Intuit QuickBooks. Still to come, we're going to be looking ahead to the one Premier League game tonight, and it is a big one. It's West Ham versus Forest at the foot of the Premier League. Forest on a bit of a rocky run. West Ham really going through it at the moment. They desperately need 3 points tonight, and Forest ideally need to pick up at least one.
I don't feel there's going to be a lot of quality on offer. It's going to be
a lot of jeopardy.
Yeah,
we're going to have a chat with Matt Jarvis, the former Hammers winger, a little bit later on. But before that, our own Max Scott will be popping back in, a huge Forest fan, to give us a Forest take on just how important tonight is for the club. We're here with Tool Station. Gear up for those darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Next stop, Tool Station.